even if they did, even if they just saw our invitation, that almost like marks us as an important group, even just by extending an invitation. So, yeah, I think there's some more thinking we can do about it.
Oh, no doubt. And I think by shifting it away from sort of the chaos that's the month of September for the QVCOG, I'm going to have the opportunity to really focus on it and get more of our flair to it, right? It's really just something over the last 3 years, especially the first two. It's like, in this year to an extent, I'm not an event planner. I didn't go to school for that. I kind of just say, okay, Edgeworth Club, great, check. Okay, who was here last year? Copy and paste, same thing. Program, pretty much the same thing every year. Call the same people. You know, if we change it up where I can really focus on it, and then you have some help from the board and volunteers as well, that'd be great. But it's not your job, and I'm not asking you to. But just shifting it away from the fall would be really the big difference.
Okay.
And I was amazed, well, if you look at waste, the program was beautiful, by the way. But most people didn't even look at it because they started to eat. And as I was leaving, I looked back and most seemed to me like a lot of the programs were left at tables or chairs and not even taken with them. So it might be fun. I was just to have community people talk about their community or the history of their community. I mean, I'm not from this area, but I know these communities.
You can even have them do a video or something, like ahead of time, and if they have a big screen or something.
Or something that's running.
Talk about, if somebody wants to give a 5-minute, little 2-minute blurb on their thing, while they're eating, then maybe you could kind of keep an eye on that.
Right. I mean,
Patrick, sorry, it's Roberta from Avalon again. I would definitely be willing to help plan this. I am in the restaurant and hospitality business. And although I was unable to attend, and probably because it was so crazy the past 2 months with everything, school and family and budget and et cetera, I'd be very interested in helping plan and take all the ideas that we've gathered and more and help with the next one.
Well, I appreciate that. And yeah, we'll definitely be in touch, you know, as we get closer to the spring. But yeah, I mean, all these ideas, I think it's great to kind of rethink what we do. Not like we need to reinvent the wheel, but we can definitely tweak it and make it our own.
Right. What worked and what didn't work, since it's so fresh. It's not, it's a few weeks ago rather than months ago. So Marty, has this been a tradition of the club for years? Dinner?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, as far back as I can recall, I mean,
some country club years ago.
I think Masonic Village is where it was for quite a while.
Really? We used to go up to that one in Ben Haven Heights, that country club.
Oh, yeah.
We go up there. They had them up there for quite a while.
But yeah, we'll kick the tires on and you know what the Edgeworth Club can offer as far as outdoor or different things and see what we can do.
Roberta might have some other ideas too.
And I definitely want to highlight Kevin Flannery's help getting the event at the Edgeworth Club. He without his sponsorship, we wouldn't be able to have it there. And they basically don't charge us to use the venue. It's just really food and drink and gratuity. So.
Right. Okay. Next on the agenda is the approval of resolutions for the LSA grant applications. And I think you have the list up there.
Yep. So grants, more grants, right? So the local share account is a statewide grant. This is also kind of derived from the gaming money. It dates back to 2003, I think, with horse track gaming. So this is something that's been around for a while. But for the first time in 2023, COGs can apply on behalf of their members and authorities. So to date, we have 5 applications. The applications are due in the Department of Community and Economic Development's application portal by November 30th. So the 5 applications are Emsworth Borough is looking to install some LEDs at Marinick Field. Glen Osborne Borough is looking to line their sanitary sewer along Beaver Road. Lee Township's looking to rehab some of their interior of the municipal building. And also another project for Lee Township, they're looking to procure public works and police equipment. And Swickley Heights is applying for a sanitary line extension project on Quarry Road. So pretty wide-ranging projects. This is a pretty wide-ranging pool of money that you can go after. It's very competitive. Like I said, this is statewide, not just countywide, but it's another crack at the apple, right? So we are going to be applying for these 5 grants. Same thing applies, utilization fee, so $500 for every application. And if anything's awarded, it's 2% of that the QVCOG gets for administering the project. So excited to be able to try this pool of money. Again, this is the first year we can do it. And a part of that is a concurrent resolution like we have for all of our other projects.
First year,
Yep, for us. Now, individual towns can apply.
they did it, but individual towns got money before, right?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. So this is the first
So
year
you
the
gotta go
COGs
through
can
COG.
apply.
You have to go through COG now.
You don't have to.
Oh, you don't have. to.
Don't have to. Yeah,
But
not at
you-
all. You don't have to, no.
But the benefit is not doing all the administrative work. and
Yep.
all that clear on
Okay, I'll take a motion to approve resolution of the LSA grant applications.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, is there a
that.
second?
Oh, second.
Okay,
I'll second.
any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on for approval.
Is this, excuse me, is this due? They have to be in by a certain time?
The application is due on November 30th. I'm asking for all the materials and I've been in communication with the managers and the engineers for these projects. I'm asking for everything to get submitted on the Friday before Thanksgiving. Just acknowledging that we might have until November 30th, but it's gonna be all over the place that week and the week after,
How
so.
detailed are the information you need? You need numbers, I guess.
So for this application, the LSA through DCED, it's a lot more specific and a lot more like finite, right? So a lot of these have like 1,000 characters or less for the answers. So you have to be really specific, really concrete. And it's a lot more detail, I would say, than the county's applications through CDBG
Okay.
and through the gaming money. So it's gonna be a learning
They want
process.
Pretty accurate numbers.
Yep. And you have to explain, like they ask for a budget summary as well for the LSA project. So the engineers and the municipal staff need to have a little more detail with these applications than the other ones, for sure.
Any other questions? And moving on to the next item on our agenda is the approval of the concurring resolution for CDBG year 50
More grants.
applications.
So we did the first step, the pre-application for our CDBG projects last month. This month, we're going to be approving the resolutions for the full application. So it's a 2-phase process. Basically, why the county does that is they review your pre-applications, they make sure the projects meet all the standards of the CDB program through Housing and Urban Development, federal program. We submitted 10 pre-applications, 9 got the green light to go to the full. So as a part of the full application, we need a concurring resolution, which you'll find in the packet. And the same deal, every project that we apply for, a $500 application fee, 2% utilization fee if it's awarded.
Municipalities have to agree to that too, right?
Yeah. Okay, I'll take a motion to approve. Okay, Marty's here. Okay, Julie. All those in favor by signifying by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Those of us that are sitting in this room and signify by saying aye. Okay. So the next item under new business is consideration of a proposal from the Pennsylvania Resource to conduct a hard to recycle collection event.
Okay, so no more grants here, but related to grants. So basically this year, 2023 saw the first year that we didn't get a hard to recycle event in our region. And that was usually housed at the Quaker Valley High School. So I reached out to Pennsylvania Resources Council, just kind of picking their brains on, why we weren't picked. And really it just comes down to funding, just like everything else. So the county had 7 or 8 hard to recycle events in the past. That got whittled down to 3 or 4 this year. I think it was 4 total. So you had half as many sites and we were half that wasn't picked, right? So in order to make sure we get that event back in our region, and we saw huge success in the
Right.
last year in 2022, over 600 registrants,
Yeah.
getting rid of their TVs and monitors and tires and all that good stuff, not going into a landfill, not going into our creeks, not going into our dumpsters late at night. These are taken care of in a sustainable and responsible way. So reached out to PRC, had that discussion this morning. That's why this was just added to the agenda in our packet. We are basically going to be working with PRC. They take care of all the staffing, they take care of the advertising, they take care of the coordination between your recycling hauler for electronics, your recycling hauler for tires, your recycling hauler for appliances. There's all different companies that have to do all this, so they take care of everything. They charge $8,500 for the mobilization fee, which is basically everything I just said. We have an opportunity to fundraise with PRC to sort of raise sponsorships. People could have their logos out there. Organizations can help kind of cut down that cost. But basically, we just need to commit with PRC that says, yes, we are going to commit to pay this. If no one gives us any sponsorships, it's $8,500. Okay, we're acknowledging that we're going to be put on the calendar for one of their 7 or 8 events, right? If we're not put on the calendar now, we're not going to be put on the calendar, period. So it's more or less like, hey, this is what we're asking for. Now, how is this going to be paid for? Well, it's going to be through our joint recycling fund, right? This past year, or just this year, we got $26,133.62 through the Act 101, Section 904 Recycling Performance Grant. This is something we apply for and get every single year. It's about 2 years behind. That was based on 2021 data. We're going to be applying for 2022 before the end of this year. So it's always a little bit behind year wise, but basically a big chunk of that goes to you guys based on your residential recycling. The commercial recycling goes into our joint recycling fund. We built it up to over $45,000 to date. Now, what has that gone for in the past? Basically just to pay for or to subsidize our glass recycling program.
Right.
As you guys will remember, 2 months ago, we agreed to take over full financial responsibility for the glass recycling program. That ends up being about $7,600 based on the current rates for a hauler every year. And if we were to add on another $8,500, we could perpetually keep doing both of those things without touching the $45,000, which it's there for it exactly like this, but it wouldn't depreciate at all if our current award rates kept up to the current pace. So that's what this money is there for. We've raised it over the years when we get it for recycling, and this is exactly that. So I'm asking for formal approval for us to go ahead and give the green light to PRC, and we'll get this on the slate for summer. And we'll reach out to the high school and get a date that works for them and works for PRC, and we'll bring it back.
So this would be through resolution, right?
No, just approval.
Approval?
Mhm.
Okay,
Patrick, do you know how was PRC paying for that in the past?
Through the county, basically the county was
Did the
paying for it.
county cut their-
Yeah, they went from 7 or 8 events down to 4 last year, and I just don't want to rely on being picked from. I don't know what their reasoning or what relationships were in the past, but to make sure we get it, that's how we do it.
You're saying that, like, that at least for the foreseeable future, we get paid for something like this every year, plus this glass.
Oh yeah, like
You decided to keep, I missed this, you decided to keep this glass program,
yes,
yes.
okay? Even though the hauler takes it now.
oh yeah, we haven't seen a decline in usage of the program at all. We're still
Ours
pulling
is
about.
like overflowing. Every time I talk to somebody in my neighborhood, they're like, the glass recycling bin's overflowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I think
They still want to take it down there rather than whoever has.
just like
Yeah.
Edgeworth has that recycling center. I feel like once you get
I'm just
people,
asking.
yeah, it's really taken off. It's really taken off, and the usage hasn't declined. We're still at 2 pools a month, probably about 10 tons of glass a month is about average. And that hasn't changed really since the implementation with waste management. So we'll see. I mean, that could change, but
Okay. I think if you would like to support this event and feel that the Quaker Valley COG should fund it, all those in favor signify by saying aye. I,
a motion or not?
Yeah.
we should make a motion. I feel like it needs to be a motion. I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion.
A second,
Second,
all those in favor signify by saying
aye.
thank you.
Great.
Can I just say something? I think it's very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
What they're charging us.
No doubt.
You know, like for PRC does host the zero waste event for Swiftly Light Up Night.
Mhm.
And I think they charge $3,000 for that. And I mean, I find the 8,500 to be really expensive.
So
I
here's
think
the,
we better promote the heck out of it.
Yeah,
so here's the event breakdown. This is what they gave to us in this proposal. So, the mobilization fee for, I think they pay the e-waste subcontractor $4,500 out of that 85. So they're paying that company to come out here, then an additional, the tire subcontractor gets $750. The appliance subcontractor gets $500. PRC is taking $2,750 for their administrative fee. So that's basically what they're, just like we charge you 2% for our programs that we
What's
get.
the economics on this, like, all this stuff is coming in, you know,
Yeah.
TVs and all, and how do the companies?
So they charge the individual users, the people that
Right,
register for
they're-
these
they're
events.
Taking TVs
Yeah.
and giving them so much money, but then what are they getting out of it?
Well, I don't want to speak to whoever's
I mean,
recycling
not
televisions.
numbers, But they take that as material some
Yeah.
way, and they're gonna do something and sell it or.
Yeah, yeah, they
take it apart and they're gonna make money on that too.
yeah, for sure. I feel like, you know,
And they charge the person who's bringing it
Right,
in.
correct.
Like,
Yeah.
are they still gonna do that even though we're paying them?
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're just paying this was paid for always. It was just coming from somewhere
Paying for-
else,
Yeah.
right? So the county was paying this or somebody else was paying that before
Maybe our
them.
new county executive will take that back under the county.
That's
future. In the future.
But yeah, in the packets, and I'll make sure you guys get this too, if you have any questions from other council people for your towns. But the fee is broken down, you know, as accurate as, I can only say what I've given, you know, this is how they break it down. And then the individual user fees, again, we had 600 people come out and pay these fees with a smile on their face 2
Yeah.
years ago. I don't think the $30 is what the problem, no, how those TVs are recycled again, just like the cameras and just like the fingerprint scanner. I can't speak to that. I don't know, but
how the numbers, you know, what you get for that.
yeah.
It's a
Right.
lot of money or not a lot, I don't know.
The real issue is where else are you gonna take it?
Right.
Right,
You just get thrown in a creek or in a dumpster illegally, right? So,
Like
right.
television, there are places to take them, but it's a heck of a lot more expensive than $30.
yeah,
We had to get rid of lots of TVs. And now there are places that will take Freon containing things. They'll take them just for free, because Freon's worth its weight in gold.
yeah,
But,
They'll reuse that or something, right?
or, yeah,
They
they
use it.
They reuse it, Freon, yeah, but these events, and I've been to several of them, are great. They actually got a call last week, the last event, there was a little volunteers, because people didn't show because it was raining.
Oh, I saw that too, yeah.
Yeah, so I couldn't go, but, yeah, they're great programs.
yeah, and again, the tires, like you said, that they're only charging $5 for a tire, and that's like a car dealership that when you get your new tires, they're charging you $12, $15 a pop. So they are charging a nominal fee. It's not free, but it's pretty close to it. So
Maybe that is so people aren't bringing in like 40 things, you know, it's like a barrier. Little barrier to entry there.
well, not only that, when you register, you know what's coming in,
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
so you can be prepared somewhat.
And all these events are registration in advance. You can't just show up.
Oh, really?
So they know exactly what you're bringing in, so they can kind of coordinate accordingly. So, yeah, I mean, it's a great event, and I'm glad that we're able to get it back to the region.
Regular
So,
event. That's more things like paint and things like that, is that what it is, the regular recycling?
that's the household chemical. So it's the same kind of deal that they would still probably charge the same amount, maybe a little less. But I don't know if we've ever had that in the region here,
Okay,
at least since I've been familiar with it. They do still have those though. They're throughout the region.
We could do that in Glen Osborne, we paid extra. for that.
Oh, you're talking about through waste management.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm. So that's in the contract. Individual towns can opt in or opt out of that, and residents can put,
well, you have to let them know and then they'll come pick it up,
Mhm.
but.
well,
Although,
I
we-
thought we used to have like a regular recycling thing. Not just.
for paint and things like that.
Yeah, oil and paint and We used to have that, like, they'd have it like in Avalon, up there in the, by the Public Works, or years ago, it wasn't this hard to recycle stuff, it was, I'm just trying to think, oil, paint, and
Oh, wow.
forgetting stuff, what you could bring in.
Yeah, PRC does those, still does they call it household chemical recycling events. Same kind of deal as they're hard to recycle, and it's just, you can't mix that. I guess there's rules where you can't have paint at the same place you have TVs, and so they like silo these events.
Okay.
Since I've been associated with the COG and starting working in Edgeworth in 16, we've only ever had the hard to recycle event at the high school. That doesn't mean they didn't, like you said, they might have been before 2016, but I don't know. I mean, if that's something the board wants to do, we could bring it in. We just have to pay another, 85 or 7,000, or whatever it is. I don't know.
Some sticker shock with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm just glad they're doing it. It's not me. So it's okay. If you want to bring out your staff and do all that work, how about it? That's what we get the money for, right? That's exactly why we get the
Well, right,
$26,000.
money's there,
So,
it's just sitting there.
And you're supporting the organization.
and again, it's just, that's how they stay afloat. So,
Okay.
Patrick, my wife and I went over to the county parks, Settlers Ridge, and they had it 2 weeks ago. The difference is when they did it at Quaker Valley, you lined up, and we had people lined up out on the main road and had to have the police there directing traffic. Now what they do is you have to get a ticket. It's free, but you sign up for a specific time, and you
Wow.
it's an e-ticket. You take that with you. They sign you in. So the traffic is more steady than everybody being backed up first thing in the morning and everybody being there at 10 or 11 a.m. So they do limit the amount of people that can take advantage of it. You do have to sign up ahead of time. So that is a change. You won't see cars lined up into Swickley. And I doubt if we'll have to have police assist keeping that road open.
yeah, we'll definitely let the Leedsdale Police Department know we're having it, but yeah, hopefully some of those traffic incidents, like you mentioned, are alleviated. So, all right.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, next is the concerns of the community.
All right, in the effort of time, does anyone on Zoom have anything they wanted to bring to the group tonight?
I do.
Okay, Amanda, you're up.
Yeah, I wanted to see what some of the other boroughs, I guess, processes regarding building permits in the flood zone areas, and how you guys handle that. Do you outsource it through someone? Do you handle it internally? I'm mostly interested in your residents that are located in the flood zone, the special flood zone areas, like along the river, and things like that. Like how I guess you guys handle that sort of thing with the flood permits. What's your process?
I can tell you a little bit about it. This is what I know about it, at least, this is Marty McDaniel. There's a federal, flood insurance. It's a subsidized program. Government subsidizes this insurance because the average person couldn't afford it. But then with that comes rules and regulations. So most municipalities, and I think the order to participate in flood insurance, you have to adopt this ordinance, because if you go to an insurance broker
Right.
and you say, I want flood insurance for your address, they look it up
Mhm.
and they go, okay, you're in the floodplain and you're in a federal, your municipality has adopted floodplain regulations. And then there's rules about, you're not supposed to build in a floodplain, but there are certain ways you can get around it. It's real complicated. Normally, a municipality would have their township or burn or engineer review
Right.
the application. You wouldn't do it in-house. Because then every year, the floodplain organization, the insurance company, they send a survey to each municipality, and you have to say, did you allow building in the floodplain? Yes or no? And if you say yes, they're gonna ask you why.
Right. Or do you have
And if you
existing?
violate this, you can get taken off, your whole township or borough could be taken out of the program. So,
Right.
I don't know if I answered your question or not, but that's what's going.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. We do have the floodplain ordinance in effect here. And I guess our biggest concern is I believe the engineers that we work with, they're not able or willing to review our permit applications for that. So it's kind of posing a challenge because, those of us on the council here, we're not engineers. And we don't really know all the ins and outs of the ordinances and the laws and the regulations and things like that. So we were just curious. So I guess from what I'm hearing is you typically work with your engineers.
Unless, if they don't feel qualified, you could always sub it out to another engineer.
Mhm.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You charge a fee to the person that is.
Yeah.
Want to do something, so the whole taxpayers aren't,
They're covering the cost.
yeah,
Right.
they have to pay.
But if you charge a fee, you have to have a fee schedule and the council has to vote on it.
Right. Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anybody else on Zoom?
Hey, Patrick, this is Dan McKelvey from Bellevue. I have one
Hey, Dan.
question for you. Hey, so in Bellevue here, we are currently facing an issue where we have a business that has live music they play right next to a residential street. I was wondering if anybody else on the call has had to deal with businesses not playing nicely with neighbors and how you all went about addressing something like that.
Does the business have a liquor license?
Oh, yes, they do. Absolutely.
And what's the noise? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Marty, do you want to talk about your experience in Edgeworth with the LCB and noise ordinances?
Well, I know, if you have, you can have a noise ordinance, and it has to be quantifiable,
Yes.
and you can't just say loud music, you have to, there's standards, you have to say above, I'm making some numbers up, so many decibels, 75 decibels,
Right.
and you have to go out and buy a
Meter.
Meter.
to get it calibrated.
Yeah.
And you have to go out for anybody, whether it's somebody jackhammering or
Right.
anything, it applies to any noise, not just music. And at the property line, you stand at the property line and it can, I think EPA or somebody has some standards of what reasonable noise levels are. And I think you can put times on it too, like you don't want it noise like up at the X-ray club here. They're not allowed to have a band outside at midnight.
Mhm. Right. I
Some
think most
reason- some
communities
reason.
have noise
Yeah,
ordinances.
yeah, but you have to quantify, it, so. to
You
speak,
certainly
with
do.
a- With a decibel levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the liquor control, I don't know anything about that.
So Wickley's having a problem with this right now, Dan. In Sewickley, there's a business that has a permit to do special events. And so they're having weddings outside and we're getting, like on the nights when it's loud, we're getting multiple complaints and calls to the police. So as far as I understand it, our noise ordinance is, I think it can't be over 90 decibels, which someone said was like the sound of a washing machine.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like in terms of enforcement through the borough, the residents that are complaining have been encouraged to call the police so that there's a record of the complaints. And then I think that like the business was issued a citation from our code enforcement officer. And I think then you just sort of start a legal process. So if they get multiple citations and it could lead to going to court. And then once it is resolved in court, it could lead to, I think like the ultimate punishment is that the special use permit gets revoked. So, and then they would just have different kind of permit, I guess, that would allow them to do that kind of thing indoors, but not outdoors.
Yeah, I mean, we already have an ordinance on the books where music has to end at 10 o'clock. However, this business has been caught on video playing music past 10 o'clock, way louder than 90 decibels, so like it's now becoming to the point where neighbors are, kind of, at wit's end, having to listen to this music every Friday and Saturday night during the summer when all they want to do is sit on their porch. So I understand that we need to have, businesses bringing in things and generating revenue, but I also understand, the side of the residents where they, just want to have a night where they sit on their porch and not have to listen to music or, try and get their kids to bed or whatever the case is. So I just wanted to throw that out there to you all, and I appreciate your commentary.
And I'll note, Dan, that the Liquor Control Board has all sorts of leeway there. So anytime someone's granted a liquor license, they have to meet a certain standard with noise. And if the borough approves their noise ordinance, it can surpass what the LCB is. But if that hasn't happened, the business is actually, from what I understand, again, refer to your solicitor, don't listen to me, ask them. But they could actually lose their liquor license if they don't comply with the noise ordinances set on the book by the state. So have Solicitor Rakunas take a look at that. I'm sure he has familiarity with it, but that's really, I think, the biggest threat to the business is losing their liquor license, right?
Yeah.
And I think there is some liability there.
Okay, cool. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else on Zoom? Anybody in person?
Yeah.
Just want to invite everybody to Swiftly Light Up Night, Friday, December 1st, 5 to 9 p.m.
I'll be
We're
there.
gonna try to recreate the magic.
Special seating for COG people or something.
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion. We
Okay, one over there.
Second.
Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for your time and those of you that are here.
Thank you, everybody. Happy Halloween to everybody.
Thank you. Have a great night, guys.
Business folks that weather